Welcome back to the Begin Within Health show, diving into another common fitness saying. And I'm going to give you my take on that today. Here's the saying: the scale doesn't lie. Let's dive in to that one a little bit together. I'm curious to know how you responded when you heard me just say that the scale doesn't lie. Does it fill you with hope and excitement? Do you feel encouraged, or do you feel perhaps the opposite, maybe feeling a little discouraged, a little down, maybe a little less motivated? Well, you're not alone there. It's definitely something that we need to talk about. And the fitness industry in general hasn't really done a very good job of communicating this. So, what's the truth? The truth is this. Well, yeah, the scale, right? The scale gives us a number. And it might be, depending on how accurate that scale is, it might be an accurate number at the time. But here's the question: does it give us a full picture of our health, how healthy we are? Because here's my problem with it. And it's the thing that we run into most often when we feel discouraged by looking at that. And perhaps we're uh, kind of attacking that daily habit of stepping on that bathroom scale in the morning. I know that so many do. Some people swear by it. Hey, it's a great habit for me. It helps me stay on track. And for others, honestly, it's probably a really bad idea to step on that bathroom scale every single day. Now, I'm going to let you decide for yourself which is best. I have done both in my life. Sometimes I go through a streak of taking a look. By and large, though, it doesn't matter to me. I use other ways to assess my progress. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that with you as well today. But too much emphasis on that number, on that single number, that what the scale is saying, even though we might say, oh, it doesn't lie, that's how much I actually weigh. Well, that number can be misleading. If you are like me, you are always looking for ways to add in more protein into your diet. We know protein is so healthy for us, so good for us for longevity, for, of course, taking care of our lean mass. It helps support weight loss. It helps support every single thing that your body does. So more tends to be better. However, if you have tried to add in protein, you know that there's a challenge. You know that there are protein bars out there that taste like cardboard. Some of them taste good, but they're basically just candy bars. They crash your energy, they don't support you. And of course, the ingredients are pretty suspect when it comes to how much they're actually supporting your health. What if I told you that there is a snack that delivers 32 grams of clean protein, equivalent to a 6-ounce steak, in a tiny package that's easy to carry along? I'm talking about convenience, and I'm talking about health with Joburg meats. If you haven't tried it, I encourage you to give it a try. They spent 18 months working with the USDA to bring the cleanest protein snack to the market that maybe the planet has ever seen. I'm talking about grass-fed beef, sea salt, apple cider vinegar, and simple spices. There are no nitrates, no sugar, no mystery chemicals that you can't pronounce with Joburg meats. So whether you're hitting the gym, whether you are traveling, or you just need some ways to add in some good, clean, healthy protein into your regular eating routine, Joburg meats, they've got you covered. I'm serious. Pop it in your gym bag, keep one in your car, take it anywhere that you need real nutrition really quickly. So here's what I need you to do. If you want to give it a try, go over to joburgmeats.com. That's JOBURG meats.com/begin within. And then use the code NATE15 when you check out. You're going to get a 15% discount on all of their products. Do it. Try it. You're going to love it. You're welcome. I'll just give you a little study that can illustrate the dangers a little bit of putting too much emphasis on the scale, and specifically in terms of frequent weighing as it's connected to negative psychological effects. This study was published in the Journal of Nutrition, Education, and Behavior back in 2015, and it found that frequent self weighing can negatively impact teenagers and young adults in their perceived body image and self esteem. And that was found in this study. The study was monitoring 2,000 teens and young adults for 10 years. All right. So a good range. So you could see someone who maybe was a teen when they started, ended up as a young adult by the end of that 10-year period. So nearly 2,000 individuals, men and women, and their self weighing habits were monitored alongside their perceptions of body image and self esteem. And the findings revealed that girls who frequently weighed themselves showed increased concerns about weight gain, higher body dissatisfaction, and lower self esteem. You maybe would have guessed that those were the results of frequent self weighing for teens and young adults. And boys also experience negative effects, the study noted, to a lesser degree. But the researchers here suggest that healthcare providers and family members should be aware of the weighing habits and emotional well being of teens and young adults, because of the strong connection that they noted between frequent weighing, getting on that bathroom scale every single day, for example, and negative psychological effects. So, what's the lesson? The lesson is this: we need better ways. I believe we need better ways to assess our health. We need better ways to understand if the person we are now is healthier than the person that we were yesterday, last week, last month, last year. Let's talk about that. First of all, right off the bat, let's talk about what that number is, because we say that that's how much I weigh. Well, what are you, right? How much of that is you? How much of it isn't? What parts of that do you want to change? What parts have you been hoping way less? Or what parts of it have you been hoping way more, right? Do you have to go to the bathroom? Is what you're about to get rid of, does that count as you? I mean, it's counted in that number, right? The number does not tell us the full story of our health. That's my point. That is the point. It doesn't differentiate between what's muscle, what's fat, how much is water, how much is extra water. Maybe I'm in a dehydrated state and I actually need more water. It doesn't give me an accurate reflection of my bone density, right? There's so much there. This is just a tiny, tiny little snapshot of a complex organism that is you. And the problem is we can put so much emphasis on that snapshot that it can actually change how we're feeling in the moment. We look at that number and it's higher than it was yesterday, but we are trying really hard to do healthy things. How do we feel? We might find that our confidence, because we were feeling so good about what we did yesterday, now we step on that scale and it just plummets. Now, was that a good idea? I'll let you decide. But the key is taking some time to reflect on whether or not that practice is a supportive one for you and for your journey, because it's such a narrow snapshot of something that has a lot more behind it than we're likely giving credit for. And I just mentioned a couple of examples. So many experts that would tell you there's so many better ways to assess how healthy your body is than body weight. There are a lot of other ways that you can assess your health journey. outside of stepping on that scale. Um, and here's the danger, right? The danger is, and I'm already going down that path, and you know this, but the danger is becoming overly, I'll use the word obsessed loosely. This is not a clinical setting that I'm using that word, but maybe a better word would be that we put too much emphasis, we place too much importance on that scale, and it can lead to unnecessary highs and lows emotionally. Feeling discouraged by a slight increase, or not seeing the number drop fast enough according to our expectations. It can derail our progress. It can undermine our confidence. And then where are we at? Was it a good idea to step on that scale and look at that number or not? There are some much more holistic or perhaps healthier ways to track our journey. Because, and I'll say it's healthier because the number on that scale is so disposed to being misunderstood and to getting too much emphasis. And so some of these other ways are healthier ways to measure our progress. How about this? How about taking a look at energy levels? Really assessing energy, right? Notice how you feel throughout the day. Are you more energetic? Are you more alert? Are you feeling good? Even positive, more positive on your health journey? Well, then you're probably making some really good, healthy decisions that are supporting how you're feeling in terms of energy. How about fitness milestones, celebrating improvements in things like not body weight, things like strength, endurance, flexibility, how strong my core is, how long I can hold a plank hold, for example, or personal records on timed tests or um, strength or power lifts. These kinds of things can be great ways to assess your progress as your body's getting better, is getting stronger, your coordination's improving, the connection between your mind and your muscles is getting better. Those are healthy changes. And if you're seeing improvements, then you are on the right track without a question. How about this? If you're focused on changing habits, how many days in a row have you executed the habit that you're working on? Isn't that a great way? I think that's one of my favorite ways to track progress rather than stepping on the scale on the bathroom floor would be this: the healthy habit that I know is going to improve me, that I'm working on doing every single day. That healthy habit, whatever it is, drinking more water, eating more veggies, taking some time to de-stress, getting to bed earlier, getting my full 8 hours of sleep, getting some square meals in, getting my workouts in, whatever it might be. That daily habit. How's my habit streak going? How many days in a row have I stuck to it? This is something that I love to track with my clients. We do it in our Begin Within fitness app. We have that set up, and they tell me what habit they want to work on. And then it tracks their streaks. They get to celebrate as they extend their habit streak. They check it off every single day that they did it. And to me, that is one of the great ways that you can tell you are healthier than you were before you started that habit, before you started tracking the habit. How's the streak on your habits going? That's a wonderful way to scale your progress. And then one of my favorite ways, and I've talked about this before on the show, is a different type of scale. This is a scale on a scale of 1 to 100 where you scale your health based on actions, based on what you've been doing. How healthy are you today on a scale of 1 to 100? How healthy is your lifestyle? 1 to 100. What number would you give yourself? And as that number increases, maybe week to week, you can be sure you're on the right track. And just for simplicity's sake, I have a regular prompt that goes out to my clients to ask them how healthy they are this week on a scale of 1 to 10. And I see nines, I see tens so often, sometimes week after week, 10, 10, 10. And they're working on new habits, which means They're growing, they're changing, they're getting healthier, but it's 10 again. Based on everything I know and how things are going, I'm 10 out of 10. Awesome. How's that scale going for you? Forget about the scale on the bathroom floor. Think about a scale like that on a regular basis. Where am I? How healthy am I? Whether you like the 1 to 10, I personally like the 1 to 100 because it's much more nuanced, right? I'm an 86. I'm a 92, right? Basically, that would be 9 out of 10, both of those. But there's a big difference there. And if I ask somebody and they tell me I'm a 92 versus an 86, they could tell me what that represents. Well, it's this or it's that. How about that? Those are some great ways to track your progress, scale your progress, how well you're doing, and it can actually have a true bearing on your health, not just a mystery, confusing number on the, the scale on the bathroom floor. Health is more than a number on the bathroom scale. It's about how you feel. It's about the habits you cultivate. It's about your journey to becoming the best version of yourself that you can be physically, also psychologically, right? Like we just talked about. So the next time you step on the scale, consider what actually you are measuring and if there's a better way to measure the number that you really want. Isn't it how healthy am I? And is that number that I'm seeing here, is that the best way to measure it? Is that the only way to measure it? There are some really simple, easy ways that we just talked about that you can get a better read on how healthy you are. So think about that, please, the next time you step on the bathroom scale, if you decide to do so. I appreciate you being here with me. I would love for you if you would be so kind, if you haven't done so already, please rate and review the show in your podcast player. That helps me so much to be able to get the message of simple step-by-step health and fitness out to many more people. So you're doing me a favor. You're also doing them a favor. If you would do that, it would mean so much to me. I will talk with you again soon. And between now and then, please keep taking good care of yourself.